Good evening. I'd like to call to order the March 14th meeting of the Golf Committee. In accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 30, Section 20, I have to inquire if anyone is taping this meeting. Seeing none, I will also remind the public that this meeting is being recorded on Channel 18, and it'll be for your viewing pleasure shortly. All right, the first item on the agenda is the roll call. Jeff Converse. John Cookson.
Present.
Keith Hochstein present. Suzanne Connolly. Absent. Mark Bushway. Absent. Bill Silva.
Present.
Jason Orby.
Present.
Okay, we have a quorum. That's good. Public comments. Jesse, do we have any?
Negative.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is to act on the minutes of the January 10th meeting. Would anyone like to make any additions or deletions? No, seeing none? All right, would someone like to make a motion to accept the minutes of the January 10th, 2023 meeting?
Motion to accept.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I don't think I have to call everyone's name considering there are four of us. All right. We're going to get into the Hyannis Clubhouse update. As everyone, I believe, knows, we had a frozen pipe there 6 or 8 weeks back with extensive damage. And Jesse is going to report on it. And we also, if you would like to introduce our guest, Jesse.
So you've heard the name a lot in recent meetings, Chris Ganella. He has, at least in the interim, I don't know if he knows his own job title right now, taken over for Maddie. Maddie, you all know, has moved on from the town. So he is acting interim, whatever you want to call it, community services director. He has been spending tons of time working on the Hyannis Clubhouse issue, and it's a majority of the reason I asked him to come here today. So.
Well, I would just like to thank Chris for attending the meeting tonight because we can get as much information and we can also provide that to the public, and that's going to be great.
And I can't tell you how much he's done. My role in this has been a lot of just providing information while Chris has been doing the actual, I don't even know what to call it.
So the legwork.
Yeah. So, Chris?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. I look forward to come to this one and other ones. And basically, an itinerary of what's happened. We all know the events on February 3rd, 4th, and 5th with the pipe bursts. So let's skip a beat a little bit and complete it. So we've removed and relocated all of Jesse's golf operations, the pro shop stuff, immediately within the first week or so. We removed all that stuff out of there. We didn't seek to get money from the insurance company. We just said we're going to protect our assets that we have. We got that stuff and relocated in dry areas of the building, 2 storage containers. So that's done. I will say that Gimme's Mass Military Support Foundation, we've had a great relationship with Brenda. I don't know her last name. She's the acting, I think she might be the operations person now. But she came in and said, we need to get your stuff out of here. We don't know where this lease is going. We don't know if you're going to extend. And they've been wonderful with removing all of the food, beer, liquor, equipment, week and a half's time. So they've actually done a really good job with helping us get everything ready. We had an emergency procurement process through the procurement department down in Barnstable. We have removed all the laminate flooring in the function room, and we removed the acoustic tiles in the whole lower level, just so there was moisture that was trapped underneath the underlayment of the laminate, and then the moisture where it actually came down through the floor. So that is unfortunately all I have that I can say that's completed. There's a lot of other things that are going on with this project right now, working with the insurance adjuster, utilizing relationships that I have with Mark Marinaccio, the town architect, and DPW. We have an industrial hygienist that the insurance adjuster had hired, which provides a moisture report, hazardous abatement, asbestos testing, and now we're just in this kind of a back and forth of negotiations. As of today, we had asked for another 100 additional tests. Sometimes I don't know if anybody's done demolition, but they treat it as a homogeneous condition. So if I found something that was asbestos containing here, one could assume that that wall contains asbestos, for instance. and there's some back and forth, but we are in the process. I'm hopefully, I would say 2 to 3 weeks, we'll have some kind of a definitive demolition / abatement plan.
Is there asbestos?
Yes.
Oh, there is. Okay.
Yes, certain locations. And we've known, we had reports from 2015 from other projects that were done. I mean, lower level, there's some tile underneath the carpet that was in there. And that was missed by the industrial hygienist from the insurance adjuster, but we had reports from 2015. So basically, I barraged the insurance adjuster with, 15 different reports that we've done in the past and say, your stuff is inaccurate. So either you're gonna give us the green light to go as a homogeneous and pay for the abatement, or we're gonna do $10,000 worth of testing. So that email was sent off this morning. And like I said, we're in a wait and see approach with that. Waiting, but not done yet too. We got the trailer. I don't know if you guys saw the trailer that we have up at the Hyannis Golf Course. It's a 60 by 12 trailer. I call it the office / pro shop area that Jesse and his staff is going to try to outfit and get operational as soon as possible. And it's pretty simple to sit here and say, oh, we just got a trailer and we set it up there. But Jesse will tell you, if I had any hair left, it was gone with the permitting process. It was very good, but not doing it before. Navigating that process and securing the trailer, and you have some other situations that are specific there as far as the high voltage electricity close to the building. So we're looking at trying to get that electrician out there tomorrow.
Electrician, IT, trying to get them to work together. The town is perfectly fine with us hiring our own electrician to get it up and running, but then the IT department needs to come in and get it all set up for us after he does his part. So we have a meeting tomorrow with the three of us, me, the electrician, and the IT, somebody from the IT department.
Where is it located?
So
Where is the trailer?
it's basically where right across from the clubhouse, so where the handicap spots were, which would be
The railroad ties?
correct,
Yes.
up against that, right. So I'm assuming the handicap spots will be repainted probably to the right of where you walk down that path. Just the next closest spots, they'll come and line it and make it official looking.
We've already contacted DPW knowing that we're gonna have this here. And IT, as Jesse mentioned, to say, hey, after they come out, maybe we wanna put up a couple Jersey barriers to protect the trailer. Maybe we're obviously gonna have to include some handicap spacing and signage. Maybe even a temporary walk, they can paint the lines and black them out for a walk space, because we know that this is gonna be our operations for some time. So we don't wanna know how long, but we want to be kind of prepared for the worst, so we're not asking all the other staff and all the other departments in town when they pick up for the summer to say, hey, can you paint some lines on the pavement for me, or do some signs? We know what they need.
Well, we have to have a certain number of handicap spots based upon the number of spaces in that parking lot. So obviously, we're going to adhere to that framework.
Absolutely. I would defer to the highway division,
Right.
the Department of Public Works. That's where their expertise lies with how many signs, how many spots, how
Right.
many widths, and that's why we've already kind of asked for their help and assistance, because that's their area of expertise. I mentioned that. I mentioned the trailer, pro shop, opening date. I don't like making any promises.
My goal all along and remains 2 weeks from yesterday, the 27th. My thought process is, if IT and the electrician meet tomorrow, formulate a game plan that gives the electrician, let's say, 2 full days to get it up and running Thursday and Friday. IT would then come in the following week, so next week, say they can get theirs done Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then that gives Tom 4 or 5 days to create a pro shop. So he gets to, as frustrating it is, it's almost kind of fun. You get to design it's big, but it's set up as, it's really a mobile office trailer. It's not meant for retail, so it's a little more segmented than we'd like. There's a wall that I was kind of hoping wasn't there. I thought it was more of just a partition, but Tom has his work cut out for him designing a pro shop. But assuming no snags, which is probably the worst thing you can do, I like to think we will have an operational golf course Monday the 27th. And I want to open it. Everybody I've said that to have said, why would you open on a Monday? Why not a weekend? And it's purposely because I want kind of a soft opening to work out the inevitable kinks that are going to come with this. I don't want to open up on a sold out Saturday. So that's what we're hoping for. And I think it's 93% likely.
I like his percentages. Yeah, so with that being said too, I think there's a lot of questions that are obviously being asked by golfers, public about the concession. When is it going to be ready? I've learned in my 10 months in this position not to give dates, but I'm an honest person. I look people in the eye and tell them the truth. There's a lot of things that we're looking at with the extent of damage that was done, and we could use this as an opportunity to. Well, we had a HVAC report that was done. We have a lot of other issues that we've known about. So when we meet a certain criteria or a threshold insurance-wise, it could potentially trigger an ADA requirement. We're obviously going to want to do that because we know that we're not downstairs. So some of these things are going to take longer. We could, put it back together again faster, not better. So we're trying to take a wide scope at this. And then CIPs that we submitted, we already pulled the maintenance building, saying, hey, if we're going to have to spend an additional funds, we'd like to at least be able to go to the golf committee and say, well, you guys knew this was happening. Why did you spend $350,000 on a trailer? No offense, I was in the maintenance world, but we might have better money spent to get in there and do it right and then leave once. So that was our thinking behind it. But I mean, I'm sure Jesse and myself will keep you informed as we know.
What were the ADA concerns that you had?
The space, as far as the lower level, the turns, the egress points. There's not egress into the men's or women's bathroom location now. There's not ADA, the stalls in both of them are not ADA accessible. So nothing on that lower level is really to code.
Everything, yeah, okay.
So first plan, abatement, demolition. Town architect, along with Jesse and staff, will look at what do we want to put back, what do we need, not just going to put it back. The showers in the men's room haven't been used in forever and a day, so what is the use now? What is the use going forward and trying to prepare that budget and that plan to be rebuilt?
Does all that have to go out to bid for construction?
Demolition and abatement, no. Construction, yes.
So you're looking at being in the trailer through the season.
I'm guessing that, yes.
If we're lucky, you're taking a trailer out this time next year.
Again, I don't want to
Well,
commit, but yes,
I'll answer it.
Knowing the procurement schedule,
2023
knowing
season,
the availability of contractors on the Cape
You
right
got it.
now, you're looking at
If you do it right,
yeah,
I would say you're absolutely correct. That would be mine.
Yeah.
If you want to do it right. If we want to paint the walls and clean it up a little bit and make it smell good, then yeah, we can do it sooner. But if we want to do it right,
you have one chance to tear it
right.
apart.
And
that's it.
To his point, we've been dealing with HVAC issues, non-stop headaches for years and years and years. So now that everything's going to be open, and now's the time to
If you're going to move walls, do it more.
right.
Yeah. I mean, the HVAC system, the whole downstairs is exposed. They talk about insulating it. It's like, okay, it's there. The insurance company's not going to pay for us to replace insulation that wasn't there, but do we want to do it? We're here. So there's a lot of those things.
So that we had $350,000 of a capital plan that was recommended by Mark Milne to move forward for a storage building here for all James's new brand new equipment that we pulled because that money now could go towards this, knowing insurance is not going to pay for anything that wasn't, directly part of this.
Like for
catastrophe.
instance, what wouldn't they pay for?
The insulation.
Well, yeah, like all the HVAC stuff. That if we were to replace it, or that has nothing to do with.
So we're replacing HVAC.
Or if you want to re-architect the layout because
Right.
of ADA compliance.
Right.
they
We're
don't
just
have anything
we're
to do with
taking
moving walls.
advantage of the fact that you have this bare bone structure, or we will have a bare bone that we can kind of, redesign essentially. Because that building needs a little love. We all know that,
I mean,
especially the bottom floor.
specifically HVAC that wasn't affected by the flood. But if you're going into a wall and you're abating it, and you know that it's asbestos in the window on the outside, meaning on the function room facing the 10 feet is completely rotted. Hey, do we want to spend another $2,000 and replace the 2 windows while we're here and we're doing the abatement? Let's do it. Things like of that nature where we're going through and you go, we're going to need this as well. So we're just reserving the capacity of those funds to say, what should we do?
Jesse, what about groups of golfers that ordinarily would have come to Ionis Golf Course with the understanding that there would be a 19th hole to enjoy the complete day?
That is a huge concern and project of mine. Basically, we want to be transparent. We don't want them just showing up and finding out.
No.
So I'm going to I'm reaching out to them. Tom and I have been, mainly Tom, to be honest, reaching out to them. We want to let them know, but we don't want to scare them away.
Right. What can we provide for them?
We're still figuring that out because Gimme's has indicated that they would like to work towards providing some type of service, as makeshift or temporary as it may be.
Yeah, why not?
Can you outdoor tent?
Yeah,
Between the 8th,
For the bigger
Between the
groups,
9th
maybe?
and,
I mean, are we just gonna have that on a random Tuesday?
no, I mean, put it up for the
No.
season. White Cliffs puts it up for the season with the zip down sides.
It's so,
You know the practice area
yeah, but that's,
on the, between,
it's like this.
no, between the 9th
Yeah.
fairway and the driving range.
Oh, over there?
Yeah.
Short answer, we're looking at every option. We are a little bit handcuffed right now by the fact that Gimme's has their kind of right of first refusal, so to speak, that
Right.
if they want to do something, we have to let them. If they say, okay, no, we're out, now we can pivot to, be it that, you know, I've already reached out to some companies that have food trucks. Okay, we're looking at everything.
Food truck challenge is no alcohol.
It's,
You need it.
there's a lot of challenges.
With the town, you need a day of permits.
Yeah, and
for
how
a
many,
food truck.
and they're
you
gonna
need
get,
an everyday
are they gonna
day
get
of permit.
200 of them?
You
Yeah.
can't. You can only do
Right.
so many per person per year.
Right. So it's that is a big issue. We're going to do the best we can. We're going to hope that Gimme's comes through, frankly, with something, because they already have the liquor license. They
Well,
have-
that's why
I
if you
mean,
did the permanent tent, they can extend it.
right? They have, and their liquor license is it's the whole golf course.
It's the property.
It's the property. So we're hoping they come through. That's I have no good answers right
Do we
now.
have any idea why they wouldn't want to do that?
Revenue.
Is it worth it? If I'm them, I'm thinking, am I going to put all this money into whatever infrastructure they come up with? I don't know.
If they
But-
rent a tent for the season, it might
you know.
be $30,000. They're gonna make it back.
Right, and that's right.
Yeah.
And I've had outings say to me, "Oh, well, you could just put up a tent." Well, you could put up a tent, meaning you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm not. Yeah, I'm going to rent a tent for $10,000 when the outing's paying us $8,000.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
There's a ton of challenges, and I don't have enough information yet to even start choosing a direction. Meaning, we need to know what. It's easy for them to say, "Oh yeah, we're going to do something." Okay, show me a plan.
And did we have a timeline for them? Because obviously things are moving along. Or not? No.
I will tell you that I've reached out to the building commissioner to see if it's even possible to use the snack bar location downstairs. In essence, build a bubble around it. Once the abatement's done, the construction's done, that's gonna be, I'm waiting to hear back from the building commissioner, and
Okay.
obviously the health inspector would need to voice there as well, but, you know, one step at a time. But that's already seen process, because like Jesse said, we have a lessee. We owe him the right to enable to have a business, whether that is via a food truck, and I know he's looked at one of those, whether it's a temporary place as you have, and whether it is the snack bar location. I mean, ideally for everybody, I think it'd be that snack bar location, but I don't, you know, you have people that are knowing that construction is going on, to what extent? So I think by your next,
And even then, if it was snack bar, that would be window service, right?
Yes.
So now he's seating. I mean, could they use the deck just for seating? I don't know. You're gonna do that, and then there's a guy 6 feet from you with a sledgehammer, you know, on the interior. You know, I don't know. It's we don't have enough information to pick a path yet, and they kind of, I don't want to say we're at their mercy, but because we have a lease with them, that you know, they need to show us what their plan is.
Well, yeah, I would like to put it that way. They need to show us
Correct.
what their plan
That's how I
is,
feel.
rather than us being at their mercy. And I don't mean that in any sort of vindictive kind of way. I mean, we want them to make money. And it would seem as if, considering they have the alcohol license,
Right.
that they should be able to make money.
My worry is that I was asked about lost revenue, and I said, I don't think I'd be able to even start to quantify that until the end of 2024. Because my worry is that groups will come this year, and then because they're displeased with the lack of XYZ, they go elsewhere in 2024.
Right.
So I think the lost revenue would almost come next year, not so much this year.
Well, again, you, as you indicated, you're being very upfront with them, which is great. And if we can provide something,
The bigger
that
groups
is
will almost be
at least
easier.
adequate.
The bigger groups, maybe we can get a food truck or something to come in just for that day. But your average group, your regular, your foursomes, 12, 16s, I've reached out to a couple local restaurant owners that are also members. You probably know a couple that I'm talking about. And for something simple as like bring your scorecard and get a free appetizer, just like giving them, incentivizing them, to take a ride up the road, But I know I'm not giving you any straight answers here.
Well,
but
you don't have any yet, but it would seem, this is the thing I was concerned about, as you mentioned, not just the profits for this year in terms of these larger groups,
yes.
but the profits beyond that.
Right.
Can you flip-flop them? Because you don't do a lot of tournaments here.
No. That would be a loser. If this place is sold out at $100 a head, why do I want to block the tee sheet? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. No.
No, you can push everybody over there.
What do you mean? Oh, here? Bring the groups here?
And flip the members there, flip the tournaments. Because you have the infrastructure here.
We don't.
Just for the season.
There's no function room here.
What are you sitting in?
You gonna put 120 people in here?
You fit 120 people in the other one. It's not that much bigger.
Sure it is. This is rated for 48. That one's rated for 144. It's triple. Yeah. It's that much bigger. Yeah. And doing large scale. There's a reason that there's no large scale shotguns here as a rule.
Right.
Number
I thought
one.
it was us members complaining.
No. Number one is the logistics, and number two, frankly, they're really not needed. I hate to say it that way.
It
but
fills it.
correct. If you're going to make $10,000 of just doing greens fees, why not do that? Why block? I would rather just take the hit over there and let this place make its money, honestly, without displacing you guys. And we're in a position to be able to do that, frankly. As successful as we've been. If we take, I may be out of line saying this, but if I want to preserve access to members and residents, if that means we take a little hit and we dip into surplus to balance it, so be it. I don't want to be so budget minded that I start stiff arming the people who have supported us, for years and years and years. So I want to keep this place kind of siloed from that stuff, if that makes sense.
Agreed.
Keith, you're thinking.
No, I was concerned about the groups, but I'm very glad to hear about the March 27th date because the tee sheet is starting to get busy and the weather has been great and people want to play. So that's great that we're opening.
Normally, Monday, we would have had both courses open.
Right.
Just hadn't happened.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, we're
Right.
literally missing 1 week of having both courses open.
Right.
How many groups have you had to reach out to? At how you guys are trying
Not that we did through June 30th, and it was probably, I think I asked for anything of 16 or more, and I want to say it was high teens, 15 to 20 groups of 16 or more that are booked through the end of June.
A lot of those repeats? Are they?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay.
And that's my concern is that if you go on a golf trip and you go to the same course every year, it's kind of just becomes autopilot, right? You go to Myrtle every year and you play the same course. Okay. If 1 year, for whatever reason, you go to a different course, that might jog, hey, why don't we do this every year? Why are we going to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't want that to happen. We like, the groups that come to us every year, we like having that guarantee. Not that we take them for granted. We go above and beyond for them.
Yeah.
But we don't, why test it? Why test their loyalty?
I mean, obviously, we'd like to hear what Gimmy's has to say. But, you look at a restaurant like is it Gannon's?
Gann,
Down
yes.
on 132.
Yep.
And, I mean, the place isn't even open during lunchtime hours,
Right.
know.
Yeah.
So, have you talked to them at all?
Yes,
Oh, you have?
that's
Okay.
that's one of the restaurants that I said.
Because I'm thinking to myself, I wouldn't mind just, especially if there's a deal involved.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's I know the owner. He plays a lot of golf here.
Oh,
and,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's one of the local places I've said, hey, if would you be willing to offer something so that we can promote that and hey, it's a 3-minute drive.
What was the response?
We'll talk. So, but again, I don't want to promise anything until I get the information from our
right.
in-house
Yeah,
guy.
you can't.
Yeah. So it's all very exploratory.
We don't have a timeline for Gimmies then, in terms of their commitment?
We could mandate one. I
It
don't
would
want to say
seem
that.
that would be appropriate. I mean,
I would defer
that's
to-
not,
to boss man for that.
Well, in
that's not requesting too much of them, really.
their
To say
current,
we need to have a timeline, whether or not you're gonna be providing services. You're looking at me like that is not,
No, I don't disagree with you, but I mean, I look at things from both sides of the
Right,
equation,
right,
and I say,
right.
okay, can I use the pro shop? Can I use the old snack bar? I don't know. Can I set up a temporary trailer? I don't know. You want to get a building permit and a license to do it. So we're quite honestly, we're happy with where we have been with them lately, and the fact that they have gone out and looked at it. So setting a time frame on something that, what I hate to do is you say, we need you to be in here by May 1st. We need to know a response. And then they're ready to go May 1st, kind of like they were when they were ready to get the property. And we go, well, we're not ready for you yet. And the guy, what do you mean you're not ready? You're the one who mandated this. So hard dates are it's bad for them and it's bad for us.
okay.
What I will tell you is that we are collectively working together with them to come to a resolution. And I know that they have interest. But I don't want to tell them hurry up and wait either,
It was a quick yes. When I asked the question,
Yes.
do you plan on providing, I didn't even finish the sentence. She said yes. Okay. And so much of this stuff is hurry up and wait. It's crazy. It's,
So are we under the assumption that, right, as of this moment, they are gonna be providing services when she said?
I would have to say yes.
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 Oh,
And-
all right.
And that's
Well,
that's what we
positive.
want.
That's positive.
We don't, I mean, they have to, again, they have the liquor license. That's gold.
Of course it is.
Right. That's what we want. And, we'll see what happens. But again,
They were charging $6.75 for a can of beer, so they're making some money.
the golfers will they want it. Because if they don't, if it came to, okay, we have chips and crackers in the pro shop
Yeah.
with a cooler
right.
with Gatorades and sodas and waters, okay, at least we can say we have something. And maybe a certain percentage of golfers wouldn't care. What's that number? Is it 40? Is it 70? I have no idea. But a certain percentage of golfers wouldn't care. All they want is a bottle of water, play their round, and they go.
Yeah.
But a lot would.
Well, I was again addressing my concerns about those larger groups that
Yes.
take the whole tee sheet.
Yep.
They are big money for us. We all know that.
I will say
And we want
over
to maintain the service.
in recent years, the numbers of those groups have gone down, and it's not for any negative reason. In fact, it's quite the opposite. We haven't been booking them because we're so busy, and we're trying to preserve member and resident access. And frankly, a lot of times we make more money just being open. So I think I said this in a couple meetings ago. 5 years ago, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, I'd be asked, how many outings do we have? How many outings do we have? That was a big driving. I haven't been asked that question in years
That's interesting.
because college students are so busy now.
Yeah.
The revenue is there just opening your doors. You don't need these big outings.
Okay.
You want them because it's guaranteed money, but it's not a big hit, on the balance sheet at
as
the end of the
big a
year.
hit,
Right.
right.
So we used to have 25 large scale, shut it down, 100-person outings. Now we have 6, and we're making more money. So
Okay.
I'm not saying I'm not worried about it, but it's not as colossal as you may think. I mean,
Going back to Jason's comment, is there any attempt at all at this point, I know it's early, to say that the building might be restored by September 1st? Is there any idea, is that possible? If it's not possible, just tell me.
I think it's possible. I don't think it's likely.
Okay,
Because I think if we're doing our jobs and we get the support of you and your membership and the town, that we should take this opportunity and turn it around into something.
and to make the.
So we don't have to talk about this place for another 5 years, and it's all going to be
Right.
positive. So any groups that did leave or anybody who does go somewhere else, we have this new function area and this new pro shop and this whole new space, that they're gonna come back.
Okay, so
Can I
it's just
ask a
simply
question?
too early.
Can I-
You know that.
Definitely.
Okay,
Can I ask that question in a different way? When you go out to bid for the building, will you have a completion date on the bid?
Yes, you will have a completion date on the bid and probably penalties there too afterwards if it's not completed by, which we've learned. In this environment, if you tried to buy anything still in this day and age, it's a wait. How long are you waiting for your golf course equipment?
14 months.
16 months.
So it's hard to put in something that you want them to do it, you want to do it now because you have the money, but to actually get it done, it's another story. I mean, we're
So-
talking about different plans too. So again, if we go into the HVAC world and we start doing replacements for that, that's a whole set of mechanical drawings that has to be completed. So yes, you could put a date on there once it goes out for the construction drawings.
So how long will we have to wait for the storage facility that now gets put on hold? Even though we have the money to do it? We're gonna wait on that? It's gonna cost more to do it down the road?
Sure.
Is that
Yeah.
Yeah.
a wise decision to make at this point, or?
Gone this far without it. It's another year.
Okay,
I mean,
I don't know.
So the
That's
plan is
problem.
to re-offer it for next year's CIP?
most likely. Yeah, most likely. It was our, James is boiling hearing this, but it was our lowest ranked CIP. Doesn't mean it's not a need. But it was 4 out of 4, so when the discussion about this other stuff came up, it was an easy, okay, well, and we do that all the time. We have a list of needs and wants, and they get it shrinks, as stuff comes up.
I lived in James's world for, as I told you guys before the meeting, for 10 years on the maintenance end of things. They had the father and son tournament down in Florida. I don't know what that is.
Well, PNC.
PNC, they were working out of trailers for 15 years, $1 million operation. When I got out of college, I was had a really good mentor, but every once in a while he'd pull me out of the, weeding a bed or mowing green something. He goes, you know what this is? I go, yeah, it's beautiful. It's like, it's a golf course. You know what people do here? They play golf. So we're looking at CIPs and everything else on the maintenance end and trying to get James the budget and his staff the budget they need. But on the other end of the CIP, we're trying to balance it. And I think it's critical that we give the golfer something that's on a golf course, not a building, not an HVAC system, not a trailer, not something that holds equipment. I know the value in that. But if we're going to sustain this golf course and to sustain making money and revenue, we need to improve things that.
Agreed, but you made a choice. We're gonna get rid of that and do this. And I'm saying you have the money to do both. So somebody said, no, you're not gonna do both. Is that correct? Is that accurate?
Oh, it's above us for sure.
It's above.
But we don't. The problem is we don't yet know how much we're going to spend, if any, on this HVAC stuff, and we have deadlines for the CIP. So we can't do both in that sense.
Okay.
We have to wait. This deadline for the CIP is X. It's come and gone. Okay, here's what we want to do. There's so much stuff that you want to do, and then you miss the deadline for whatever reason, not because of laziness, but because of, you're focused on this and money gets directed here, and then you gotta wait a whole nother year. It happens non-stop in the town. You should see the capital. How big was the capital want list?
60-something $million.
Yeah.
But I sent that email out that first week. That was coming from me. That was my direction. I said hold and reserve the capacity to utilize funds. So you're saying we had 350. Oh, we could have done that and then done that. Well, what if the golf course comes in at $1 million and you have 700 and you put 350 into a storage area? Man, I wish I wouldn't have spent that 350. So reserving the capacity of funds is how I put it to the director of finance. So we're utilizing those funds.
So what is it? What is the reserve? It's like 2 million something? Or?
2.3.
2.3.
And I'll get into in my report. I'll tell you about what we're spending out of that. That's been recommended, and it's close to $1 million. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, the restaurant, Jimmy's there. Whatever plans they come up with wouldn't preclude you from going elsewhere to see if you can get a deal you know, a discount for groups coming in and so on and so forth?
I wouldn't promote it publicly, you know, that wouldn't be right of me to do that. If a private company, if a private restaurant that is nearby wants to offer something, I can't stop them from doing that. If you see what I'm saying? But I could never, while we have an in-house tenant, I could never have a sign in the pro shop saying, hey, bring your scorecard down, you know. But if he wants to run a radio ad or something, okay, you know.
All right, do we have any other questions then? All right, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is Director of Golf Maintenance Report.
Okay, I'll be brief, I don't have too much. Cart Path project update at Hyannis. Talked to PACON, contractor, hopefully doing prep work last week of March. Finish that, and then the paving plant is currently closed for maintenance, but I've been told it'll be open early April, possibly the first week. And I've kind of gotten a commitment from them to finish by May 1st. That's what we want. And we've also submitted a change order to help them. We're going to be doing all the loaming and seeding in-house, including the damage they've caused and everything on the sides of the paths.
Oh, that wasn't included? I thought that was included in the,
In the initial,
yeah.
we took it away from them.
Okay.
So
I
the
want
change
them-
order is a downgrade.
Yes.
Spending the same amount of money, but spending it
We're
outside
gonna
of the
do it.
contract with a different, right.
We'll do it quicker, we'll do a better job, it'll get done right. And hopefully we can get them done and gone and move on.
So James, for instance, on the 8th hole,
Yes,
we have that pathway all the way down, which looks terrific. That's going to be graded,
yes,
loam and seed, so that, because the concern.
it's a safety issue,
Right, exactly,
Mhm.
that's what I was just going to say.
a safety
The
issue,
concern
I mean,
of
ankles,
myself and
a
people
cart
I played
axle,
with,
yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's a problem. So,
For your brand new cars.
right,
right.
yeah. So hopefully we can get them in and out, and I mean, the paths themselves are, as I think we all agree on, are good, so I can't see them, you know, I think the quality of the finished paving will be just the same as it was before.
So you're hoping for May the 1st?
That's,
That would be great,
yeah, yep,
okay.
that's what we're shooting
I
for
mean,
with that.
really, if we're open March 27th, and they can't get going right away, to be done by then. And when would your work be done, the loaming and the repair of like the 9th fair? I could go on and on about the fairways that have been damaged.
It's gonna be a couple of weeks minimum, I mean, just because we have a lot of other stuff going on, coming
Right.
up here soon, aeration, a lot of cultural practices going on, but we'll just, you know, we're just gonna keep chipping away at it as best we can. Cause
Okay.
we can't let it sit there. I mean, it'll get done, I think, quicker, anytime there's, you know, all right, you know, that becomes a priority. We got our morning chores done, one guy's sitting on a machine doing something, everybody else, we're gonna loam and seed.
We got a staff of 4 full-timers at each golf course, remember?
Yeah, please.
So, but we are bringing on some seasonals here
Yeah,
soon, so
yeah.
that will help.
So when are they coming on?
The first couple, late April, early May,
Okay,
so
all right.
that'll help.
Well, I would just like to speak on behalf of myself and all the guys that I play with, that the early opening of Old Barnstable was done as well as it can be done. And Mary and her staff in the front office, and you and all of your staff need to be complimented, because that place is in perfect condition now. And again, considering what happened and everything, I just want to offer my compliments for everyone at Old Barnstable who got us up and running. And again, the people I play with, I ran into you the other day with a friend of mine, and unsolicited, as you know, he just gave you a heap of compliments.
Yeah.
And that's the way almost everybody feels. So,
That was gonna be my next comment, a big thank you to the OBF maintenance staff. I mean, that was a pretty quick turnaround. Normally, we take 2 weeks to get this place ready. And they were very appreciative. I
Day
mean,
and a half.
Yeah.
Well, you took a negative situation and you turned it into a positive.
People
which
were
is
happy.
always good.
Yeah,
People
at
were
least-
thrilled. They were absolutely
I
thrilled.
mean, I know they
A
probably
lot of
bothered some
questions
people with
though
all the
about
cleaning.
why Old Barney closed early last year. Seemingly closed early, before Thanksgiving,
It's
right?
been, yeah, I think it's been at least 3 years like that.
Is there a reason for the early closure? Is it,
I think we had that storm, didn't we?
That was 2 years
That
ago.
was 2 years ago.
Number one is staffing. I know nobody wants to hear that, but the God honest truth is we have now with Mike Colby, as we'll get into, being gone, we have five full-time staffers.
Yeah.
You can't run 2 golf courses with 5 people. You just can't.
Yeah.
And we can't employ seasonals longer than X amount of time
So health
by
insurance.
law. We can't. Then health insurance, all the right. So it's the biggest issue. And then also, honestly, if you look at the numbers, the traffic doesn't warrant it. You might have a beautiful day and you might do, 120 rounds, at Hyannis. 120 rounds doesn't warrant having 2 courses open.
if you
Yeah.
have that meeting, you're gonna have that meeting in April still?
No.
Oh, you're not?
Where?
Well, there's no spot to have it.
I mean, I don't think this would.
Yeah, all right.
I was thinking 100 plus. I thought we'd get it,
Yeah.
and that's the first thing in my report is. And frankly, even if we could have it here, I've been so pulled in different directions. I haven't worked on it. I have, so yeah, sadly no.
And, okay, I don't wanna leave the Hyannis guys out either, they did kind of a pretty good job, on short notice cleaning. They pulled all the furniture and chairs and they assisted with a lot of getting the pro shop cleaned up. They did a great job with that.
James, just one other item, the trees around the 6th green.
Yes,
Removal of those trees, that was a great job.
oh yeah,
That's opening up that, I know, you get better sun, you get better aeration, but it's become a more welcoming hole as well
yes.
without those trees.
It is, and I'm hoping it gives us better root. We have trouble on the back of that, especially the back of that green, too much shade. So that's why we kind of
Yep.
attacked that. Also like to recognize, I think most of you know him, Jim Rahilly. Great guy. He's been doing a ton of volunteer work for us, unpaid. He completely re-shingled and re-sided our pump house here at Old Barnstable. Looks beautiful. And he also basically saved the pump house at Hyannis from falling down. He put up a new wall and a new door. So he's just been fantastic. Great personality, and just a huge thank you to him for doing all that.
He's a friend of mine, and he's just unbelievably positive guy.
I mean, he puts in a lot of hours for us.
It's
I mean, a lot.
unbelievable.
He's an animal. So
I thought he got hired. He
we
wasn't-
did,
Oh, you
but
did
he
hire
just
him.
we
Okay.
laid him off, and he just
Oh,
continued to keep doing things for us.
Okay.
He
He's the
keeps
kind of
telling
guy.
me he's gonna put a cupola
Yeah.
on the
Yes. he
pump
wants to.
house
Yeah.
at Old Barney.
That's funny.
So big thank you to him. Also, a big thank you to Don Peterson from Old Barney. He built the osprey nest that we installed last
Okay.
week by the pond.
Great.
And him and the crew put that up. So,
Is there any other action to be taken for that Audubon?
There is, I'll be honest, I missed a lot of time in February
Yeah.
between jury duty and some family stuff, so it got put in the back burner a little bit, but I'm gonna be moving forward with that.
What kinds of things?
There's a lot to it. There's water conservation stuff, butterfly habitat. It all needs to be documented. I have to get them out here to do a site visit. There's a lot to it. It's a long process, and
Yeah, that sounds very exciting. Maybe we can have that as an item on the agenda, Jesse.
Sure.
I'm
When
hoping
you
to
feel-
really dig my teeth into it.
Yeah,
in the
when
next
you
couple
feel
of
it's
months.
appropriate, James, because we'd all like to hear about that.
Yeah. I've actually disappointed. I haven't really been able to attack that yet, but I'm hoping to shortly here. And also my last thing, tentatively Friday, the holly tree.
No, don't say it.
On the first hole.
Oh, say it ain't so.
You found one?
Yes.
A little one, I hope.
Yeah, yes, it's about the same size as the linden tree that was there. You'll be able to swing a club underneath it,
I thought I offered to buy that dwarf red maple.
Yeah.
so it's hopefully going to be
You gonna pay for it?
installed
Hey.
Friday. So
Let's push that.
looking forward to getting that done.
Nice little 6-foot, good canopy.
So the out of bounds markers on 8,
Yes,
those seemingly have been pushed out.
they have.
Have they?
Not to my knowledge, they haven't.
They've always been in that spot on the left side of the fairway?
I'll
I have
take a
no
look.
idea.
Take a
I
look
haven't
over
been
there.
out there recently.
I know they're
some of
on-
the people I've played with have thought that they were further to the left
Yes.
as you're looking down the fairway. I
Okay, 'cause I
think
know
that's what
there's a-
Bill is talking about.
There's a stretch of turf, not turf, but we mow it, I don't know, 6 inches. And then I believe that's where the
The real,
out of bounds is, where we let it grow up all season.
Maybe they've been hidden.
I'll
Some
take a look
people,
at it.
again, you know what I'm
Everything's
talking about.
Yes.
tight here.
They thought they were further to the left,
Okay,
which has sort of narrowed the fairway.
It's just
Just-
over the mounds.
Just check it.
we'll look at it.
Okay.
I do have one other question. I don't know if it's for you or Jesse. The MGA markers. I don't think they're accurate. Should they be accurate at this
the
point? or are they-
MGA markers or like just the
So-
sprinkler head ones?
The ones on the tees?
No, the MGA markers. The one in particular, a member brought to my attention was the 11th hole behind the white tees on here. Hold on.
Yeah.
It says 335. I put the rangefinder on it. It was 280. So
Maybe that
I was just
the
kind of
ones.
curious about.
No, that's, and the one on the 9th hole, if you, I don't have, obviously Bill has the exact details on the 11th, but the one on the 9th is indicating that the hole is much longer than it actually is when you put the rangefinder on it.
Okay. I know there's probably some missing too. That's something we've got to drop the ball.
I know some MGA markers will measure to the back of the green, and that's just, frankly, that's a golf course owner wanting to add 300 or 400 yards.
Yeah.
You know, it's an artificial yardage. I mean, I think the yardage at Hyannis was advertised when it was privately owned as 6,700, which is a joke. It's 6250, 63.
Isn't it also measured by the direction of the fairways?
It should be. Oh, it's not a straight. It's not as a crow flies.
No, it's not
right.
straight.
No, because if the fairway bends,
No.
it's shot to the center, shot in.
Oh yeah. Otherwise, the 18th hole at Cranberry would be like 300 yards par
Okay,
five.
but this hole,
You know.
Yeah, but
11
horseshoe.
is, I mean, it's straight. I mean,
Right.
You got trees on the right, you got trees on the left.
No, it
It
should be.
shouldn't be 50 yards different, but it's
We can.
it's pretty
We
close.
should ask Vinny.
Okay.
Because from that fair
You have homework now.
on 11, from the tee box, the
Yeah.
shot is to
Right,
the
yeah.
right of the
Did you say something about it?
right center of the bunkers,
Oh, the bunker.
so you're not
Yeah.
to the middle,
Yeah.
and then the approach shot be back to the left of the green.
All right.
So
I'm
there's
gonna
actually
ask
a
Vinny,
bend.
and
If you look if you look at a card, you'll see the 2 shots to approach the green. That's the way it's measured.
That's a
I
good
think that's
answer.
a good point.
Yeah,
On
but
9,
there's
I
some-
bet that's part of the answer.
No, I
Jason.
think-
But with today's lasers, you just
Yeah.
No, I think 9, from the white tees,
Right, the white tees.
was originally from the front of where the blue tees are.
Oh,
over
And
to the left.
because half of the people who played white put their ball in the junk, and they always moved the white tees over to where
Members
they
change
are
all
now,
the
which decreased the hole by 40 yards.
One thing I did forget to mention, no one's seen it because Hyannis is closed. The guys shaved down that mound in front of 11 Green.
Oh, I know. I saw that
You did?
before it
Good.
closed.
Yep.
I saw
And,
them working on it.
That's done. They constructed a new bunker. That's done, and it'll be sodded possibly next week. So
Did you take everything you took out of the front of 11 and fill in the bunker in front of 10?
That fucker needs to- But now, I mean, even me, I'm 5'8" and I can see the green on 11T now.
It came out
I
nice.
can actually see
Yeah.
the putting surface, which was kind of the goal of that.
And
Okay.
we figured it's only going to be $1,000 worth of sod. It's not a tremendous area, so that'll
Okay.
be the way to go instead of seed.
Any other questions for James?
Nope.
All right, we'll move on to the Director of Golf report.
Oh, when will you be aerating here at Old Barney?
Patriots Day week, I believe, is Old Barney. So the Tuesday following,
The 18th and 19th.
18th, 19th.
Tuesday,
And then
Wednesday.
Hyannis will be the
The following Monday, Tuesday went right. So third week of April here, fourth week of April Hyannis.
So you'll be doing a lot of seeding here too, right?
Some of the fairways need some attention here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of
we
difference.
kind of missed our window on some of them because Hyannis needed so much. By the time we got the machine back over here, it was too late for some of them, so. Yeah, we need to do we have a lot of cultural practices coming up here.
Okay, Director of Golf report.
I'll be as brief as I can. One thing I forgot to have here was that the carts update. I think Jason mentioned the new carts. I talked to the rep from Yamaha the other day, and it didn't give me any reason to think they wouldn't be here as scheduled, which is within a month. So that's huge. The spring meeting was next. With everything that's happening, I don't think it's feasible between the logistics, and frankly, I've had no time to work on it. No point in going on about that. Some staffing stuff. Operations assistant, as far as you all know by now, I think Michael Colopy has moved on to the weights and measures division with the town. It's the same division that Ryan Mulligan, the former irrigation tech here at Old Barney, moved to last year. That division has become like what Live Golf is to the PGA Tour. They're poaching all our talent. Mike he's a huge loss to the operation in a million different ways. He was super invested, always going above and beyond. Frankly, there is no replacing him. I just want to say, to anybody, his contributions to Barnstable Golf have made a remarkably positive impact on all of our experiences. And
Yeah, just speaking for the golf committee, I just want to officially echo what you just said. Mike Colopy, you could arrive at 6 o'clock in the morning, he always had a smile on his face, always greeted you in a very friendly manner, a terrific guy, and we wish him the best. I'm sure that his new job with his
perfect.
baby, with
He's
the
got
family.
a young child. This
Right.
job is a lot more, Monday through Friday. It gives him kind of a regular life and
Right.
not getting up at 4 a.m. and working weekends
Yep.
and holidays.
Yeah, we wish him the best. And
I-
thank him for his service.
He made our experiences better. I hope we made his experience positive here as well. Speaking of that, so Mary and Tom actually conducted some interviews earlier today. I'm told I wasn't in them, but I'm told there are a couple of quality candidates, and they'll be making a decision in the very near future. So
What are the qualifications for that job, Jesse? What do you have to be?
it's pretty entry level, believe it.
Okay.
It's high school degree. A lot of the language is preferred. Golf experience preferred. PGA aspirations preferred.
Yeah, we all have that.
Yeah. A lot of the language is preferred. It is fairly entry level. It's a grade 7 job in the town. The grade are there still 4s or no?
No.
I think the grading system, it's not necessarily a rank, but it goes from 5 to up to like 19 or so. So it's fairly entry level. But basically,
So you don't need to have any qualifications, PGA qualifications or
no
anything
for
like that?
for Tom or Mary's job.
Yeah, I know that,
Yes.
but for this new person?
No, we
No.
look for somebody we know we can trust getting up when that alarm goes off at 4 a.m.
Right,
Again, weekends and holidays, being that smiling face, because as I say all the time, our business is their leisure, them being the customer.
right.
We have to be here. They don't. This is not like working in the Treasury's office where they have to. So we look it's more personality and trustworthiness than it is credentials.
All right.
Frankly,
Credentials is really why I
Right.
was asking the question.
right. In a perfect world, we get somebody who wants to become a PGA member, and Mary's probably retiring in 5 years. I mean, that's kind of in a perfect
Right.
world, you get somebody who has that on their radar. But tournament variance, as you probably remember, I think I forget who brought it up, but at the January meeting, there was a question of why the tournament line in the revenue report had a negative number, a little over $2,000. So I did some recon, and it ended up being exactly what I thought. Granted, I don't think I did a good job explaining it. So essentially what that comes down to is the variance represents money that was paid out in the current fiscal year but taken in the previous fiscal year. Just another reason why having a July 1 fiscal year for a golf course is a nightmare. The main reason is quota dues. So let's say 200 people paid the $10 to join the league between the start of the season and the end of June. Well, now July 1 hits and the slate is completely wiped clean from a budget standpoint, except the slate isn't clean. We still owe that $2,000 to the players. Make sense? So it eventually gets paid out at the Quotapalooza year-ending event in October. So we're paying out money in fiscal year 23 that was brought in fiscal year 22, which creates a negative variance when analyzing the current fiscal year
It doesn't
only.
create a negative revenue number. It shouldn't create a negative revenue number. That's what it was on the
Then that,
report.
honestly, that line might not even belong on that report then,
Yeah, I don't think it does.
because it should be a
Revenue
net zero.
numbers get closed out.
Right.
at the
So
end of the
maybe
period.
it's as simple as
Yeah.
just the account works the way it should, but it probably shouldn't be on that report. So on the flip side, that tournament line is a positive variance in the months April through June
Yeah, I don't trust it.
because we're taking in. Yeah.
Nice.
Speaking of revenue, so through the end of February, we were 360,000 ahead of forecasted revenue. Obviously, a really great number. March hasn't been great so far, but even if this month comes up short of budget, overall, we're still in a really good shape with a six-figure positive variance going into our busy months. On April 6th, Chris and I will be going in front of town council and asking for $65,000 from our reserves to be transferred into our budget this year. And what it's for is $25,000 of it is our deductible for the insurance, for that I just simply cannot absorb that in our operating budget. And $40,000 of it is to make up the forecasted shortfall on credit card processing fees. So over the last 6 to 7 years, credit card processing fees, as credit card usage as a whole of our percentage of revenue has gone from 60 to 80%. Meaning, you see what I'm saying? It used to be 60%, 60 cents in every dollar we came in those credit cards. Now it's 80. Everybody's using their phone to pay and their watch, and nobody's using cash anymore. So between that and the increase in activity as a whole, not only are we more people using credit cards, but more people are playing golf, period, the budgeted amount is insufficient. We have $50,000 budgeted. We're on pace for 90. So getting this 40,000 transferred from reserve will help us avoid cutting other completely unrelated budgeted line items. I can't imagine we're going to have an issue with that. I can't. CIP recommendations. The following capital improvement projects have been recommended by Finance Director Mark Milne to move forward. So that's great news. Doesn't mean they're approved yet. That's still town council vote, right? So the three are the brand new fleet of turf baits and equipment at Hyannis, little under $500,000. Irrigation heads here at Old Barnstable, about 80,000. Replacing half?
Roughly half. Yeah.
And then improvements to the cart barn here at Old Barnstable, badly needed. Those the roof is shot, the overhead doors, so that's about 160. The really good news here, aside from the physical improvements, is that Director Milne is proposing we pay for all of these 100% out of reserve, rather than financing them, and hence burdening future years' operating budgets. Also coming out of reserves is the tractor we ordered for Hyannis. That's the 14-month lead time. That was $45,000. And the $65,000 that I just mentioned that we're going. So the three capital projects, the $45,000 for the tractor and the $65,000 for what I just talked about, is a total of about $850,000 coming out of our reserves, which still leaves about 1.5, plus or minus however this fiscal year shakes out, which is looking to be a contribution, not correct. So we're utilizing the surplus, we're spending it, we're not, I feel strongly about that. I don't need to see a huge number in there. I want to see it on the golf course. To Chris's point, we are a golf course, we're not a bank. Let's use the money and improve the golf course.
I hope that doesn't affect the plans for the bunkers down the road.
No, those would likely be financed because they would be, would you say so? That's a multi-year project. That's at least the way we want to do it is a 4-year project. Green side, fairway. So I think that would probably be financed. At a certain point, Director Milne isn't going to let us dip down to, he wasn't comfortable when we were at $600,000-700,000 just 4 years ago. Now that we're over 2, he's saying, okay, sure, go ahead and get what you need. But at a certain point, he's going to say, okay, that's enough.
This doesn't touch the 350 you put on hold that may end up getting reinvested in the building for.
This does not touch, no, that 350 is part of the 1.5 that would still be remaining.
Or would it be smart to capitalize and finance the improvements?
We have it, I say we have it, let's spend it. I don't want to have to worry about this 6 years from now in a budget, you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't want to.
It depends on how much it is.
I don't want to pinch pennies in the operating budget when we have it,
Right.
in the surplus. That's my thought. Mark might feel differently. Chris might feel differently, but I don't think he does.
I don't.
Yeah, I think we have it. Let's use it, and get immediate action, is whatever that word means in this environment. Again, 14 months to get a tractor.
Jesse, if I can just follow up on this, I was going to ask the same question that John did. Could you refresh my memory? If everything goes well, when would we start to improve the bunkers, the greenside bunkers at Hyannis? Because that would be step 1, right? What year would that be?
15 months from now, right? FY 25, which is July 1st, 2024.
Okay,
So,
okay,
right. Now, it obviously wouldn't start in July. That's crazy.
Yeah,
We're not gonna,
yeah.
it would start in, October.
okay.
So, not this coming fall, but the next. So probably 18 months from now,
All right.
which
so-
sounds like a long time, but that's
No,
how this
it's
works.
not. All right, so a year from this fall,
Right.
we could actually see the greenside bunkers at Hyannis
Yep.
renovated in a totally professional way.
Yes.
And I think you indicated to me that it would be, on average, I'm not trying to pin you down here, 15,000. Obviously, there are bigger bunkers than
From my
others.
research, Chris or James could answer that better, but I think $15,000 per bunker is
15,000.
maybe even on the low end.
I think it's on the low end.
Yeah.
Really?
Depends on how you line them. If you get synthetic liners, I mean, there's
So
you
you're
can buy
redoing the
synthetic.
whole thing? You're creating a whole new?
Digging them out, putting liners in, everything. Yes. And we want, and again, if we're going to do it, we want to do it. We don't
Right.
just want to dump sand in it.
No, dumping stand in it.
There's
does
10
nothing.
different ways you can line a bunker, from the cheap landscape fabric all the way to the most expensive and best stuff right now is the spray on, right? Just like you spray on a bed liner in your truck, they have that for bunkers where it's porous enough to let it drain, but it stops all the rocks and everything from coming up. But now you're talking 25 grand a bunker.
25.
I mean,
think,
if you go that route, right? It's,
I wouldn't put a number on it because
Okay.
it's all based on square footage.
Okay,
And like I
right,
said,
right.
you talk to different professionals. The old school guys are going to say, "Hey, flip sod upside down," and that's a liner, and that's a pretty common practice that's held up very well for a long period of time. Versus other people who have liners that are, like you said, like a filter fabric of some kind that always come up, and then they get caught when you're cultivating it with your Sand Pro. Versus a spray-on liner that's bulletproof. There's a big difference. I mean,
Wow.
Chevy makes a
Okay.
Chevette, or used to make a
Yep.
Chevette, and they made a
Yeah. Corvette.
a Corvette.
Corvette.
There's a big difference.
the golf club in Cape Cod, Saconesset it's called, across from the old Ballymead. Super expensive, super high end. A few years ago, they had giant landscaping staples that were coming up from their liner. These people are paying $250,000 to join the club, and they're hitting a shot and the staples coming. I mean, so we want to do it right.
And my fear is, we've got a high school kid out there on a Saturday morning ripping around in a bunker machine. We gotta make sure we pick a liner that's not gonna get damaged by someone being,
Okay, all right.
But if that's a
That's great to hear.
wicked exorbitant, then you
Okay.
can always go back to the sod
We're not
upside
hand
down,
ranking.
which I think is another
55
great
Well, if we keep-
bunkers.
like fairway
keep them
bunker
underneath
wise might be a
bunkers.
great idea and save
Okay.
costs. You're not so much as a steep incline.
And you're gonna fill some in too, right?
We still have plans for, absolutely.
There's a few on 13 you could fill anytime.
What would that take? Good Lord. I was just talking to him about, the one on 12, the front left one on 12. Yeah, there's some more. Again, we've gone from 60 down to like 43 in the last few years.
Right.
There's some more that I have in mind that James doesn't even know about, but I try not to, I don't want to overload him. He gets, I ask him, can we do this? And he looks at me and goes, sure, when? I got 4 people, That's all I have. The only thing left is the
Okay.
raffle, the
Right.
drawing.
Well, just a second, does anyone have questions? John, please.
Will the first tee program be affected by the?
Nope. I've been in talks with them. All they need is the golf course, and there's nothing wrong with the golf course. So no, we have about probably, I think, 7 portable toilets coming in, wash stations, handicap accessible ones. Obviously not the best scenario, but it's all we have. But no, they were never indoors. So no, I've already talked to them, they're good.
Any other questions about Jesse's report? All right, we're good? Okay, we're gonna do the prizes.
So just in case, every year for the last, 8 years, we've done this early sign-up program. So anybody who signs up between January 1st and the end of February, in those 2 months, gets entered into this raffle. 3 prizes, the big one being your 2023 annual pass. So basically a full refund on your pass for this year. Second prize is a free range pass, valid at either course, free range balls for the year. Third is a $100 gift card to be used on anything. This year we had 409 entries. So a lot of people, but somebody's going to have a good night. I will say right now, so we're going to use a random number generator.
Before you do that.
Yep.
How many of that is non-resident? You had,
Oh,
at
God.
one time you said you were running ahead with non-resident.
Yeah, it flattened big
It did
time.
flatten.
Totally unrelated to this. It's actually a little behind. I did it today, and
Okay,
it was 100 at this point last year versus 88 or 90 right now.
okay.
So that corrected itself. The money's up because of the increase,
Yeah.
but the actual number of passes has slowed. I look at these POS reports and I get all hung up and I stress. I've learned you got to let the dust settle on memberships until June.
Yeah.
Because, certain people join at different times of the year. Every year you lose 100 members, you pick up 100 new ones every year. I mean, it's oh my God, we lost 100 members. Happens every year. And we get 100 new ones every year. Every meeting on Cape does. So yeah, that kind of flattened. I have to say this, I just got the news, I'd already printed this. So number 152 is out. That person has moved.
Okay.
They said they paid their membership and found out they were moving like literally a few days later. So we refunded them, they're out. So if it lands on 152,
We do it again.
right. Keith, you would discuss the
Yes.
order. Typically, it was done the big one first, and then
No,
second,
yeah.
third. And I always thought you should build up to the.
We're gonna
to the big
do,
one.
so, just so the TV audience knows this, the first number that is selected is the $100 gift certificate.
Correct.
The second number is the range pass.
Yep.
And the first number is, of course, what
Is
every
whatever
one of
they
us
are,
wants.
whether it was a
the free
junior
membership.
pass all the way up to
Right.
a non-resident. Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna take Jesse's
So
phone.
you can maybe hit it a couple times to see how it works. Totally up to you. Just hit that
No,
thing
no,
that says
no.
generate.
Generate. Okay, the first number is 146. That person gets a $100 gift.
That was almost very funny.
146 is Olaf Thorpe.
Okay.
You know him, right?
All right. So he gets the $100 gift card
Okay.
to the pro shop. Second number is 344.
Pardon my pronunciation. Maureen Pacella, Pacella.
I don't know.
NFM. What is that? That is. Gotcha. So okay, Maureen Pacella. That is the driving range pass. Valid at both courses. Free range balls for the year.
All right, so do we get a drum roll? Oh, God, Jesse, I lost that. Give it.
Oh,
There you go.
Okay, here it is. 136.
Kyle Jones,
Okay.
a young adult member.
Save the town some money.
So we will notify those
Only got
people.
$6.95 back.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I was hoping that a person over 80 was going to win the grand prize.
What was the year the person was there? Was it Ray Cormier? He was there. He was in attendance.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh.
it was. I want to say it was upstairs, but yeah. All right, cool.
Okay, any other comments? Questions? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Aye.